We're now going to make a mask that we can use to paint away some of layer 1, the flag, so that we can see George better through it. Have the layer that you want to work on selected. Go down to the bottom of the Layers panel and click on the mask icon. It's a rectangle with a little dot in it. It gives you this mask thumbnail. It has this extra border around it that means that's what you're going to be working on. If you click over here, it means that you'll be working on the flag. Over here means that you'll be working on the mask. So we're going to want to use a brush to paint the flag out. This is the brush tool. Click there. And up in the menu bar, you have a lot of variables. Let's make sure that the brush is the right size. 125 pixels works. And we want the hardness to be 0. If it's all the way over here at 100%, the brush edges aren't fuzzy. Here the brushes are much fuzzier. You can see there are lots and lots of different kinds of brushes to use. But for now we're just going to use a simple round one. Click back on your image. Make sure the mode is normal and the opacity is 60% and the flow is 100%. There's a lot of shortcut keys you can use for a brush. They're very handy. I'm going to show you now. If you hit the X key, note over here, it's turning the brush from black to white. On a mask, black conceals and white reveals. So if you paint with black, you'll be taking away from the image. If you paint with white, you'll be adding it back in. The numbers keys on the top of the keyboard allow you to change the opacity. I just hit the 5 key and it turned it down to 50%. Turn it back to 60. 0 is 100%. The bracket keys allow you to change the size. That's the left bracket. There's the right bracket. So let's paint. Just push your mouse button down. And paint. If you let go, you can paint again, adding another 60%. What I want you to practice here is slowly building layers with very soft edges. You can reduce the opacity. I'm going to take it down to 30%. And I can hit the X key and turn it around to white and back off. Paint away. I'm going to hit the 6 key again to bring it back up. And there's George, nicely painted in there. Note that you have a little vision of what the mask is right here. Let's add another layer and another image to this collage. Open, MV Painting, open, Move it out of the way. Go to the Move tool. Drag it over to George. Close that up. Have that layer selected. And hit Control T. That's transform. Move it down to where we want it. Scale it up some. Move it around. Double click to get back into your regular mode. Reduce the opacity some, so you can kind of see what you're doing. Maybe move it around a bit. Hit Command T again. Scale it around. Double click. And take the opacity back up. And do the same thing you did here. Do it here. Have that selected. Try some different layer modes. Different opacities. Let's try that. Put a mask on it. Paint the mask. Maybe reduce the opacity even more. And there you have a collage. If you want to do adjustments for the whole thing, like we did just for George, you can do that down here. Click on this little circle that's half white and half dark, making sure that you're on that top layer, and pick one of them. Say hue and saturation. You can adjust that. This produces an adjustment layer that you can use to adjust everything below it. Your collage is now done. You're going to save it. Then you're going to save it as. And you're going to change the format to JPEG. You're going to get these little warning signs because JPEG won't support all of the layers. When you hit save now, it's going to save it as a copy. Notice that it says JPEG here instead of PSD like it says up here. So you'll have a George and your initials .jpeg and a George .initials -initials and .psd. You'll have two files. Save. You can let this one, instead of being 12, which we had before, you can reduce this one to 8. That makes it a lot smaller. Hit OK, and you are done.